Right, so as you can see, I have taken a calculator. I've changed the scale of 1:10. I've changed it to 1:25 because it's more likely that you're going to have a 1:25 scale in your real drawings that you're going to be doing. Right, you'll note that point P is in the middle of this thing. Right, so what we're going to do now is we're going to start by drawing a line going up over here. A nice construction line going up. Let me just use a pencil for that. A nice construction line going up over there. All right, and I now take my circle stencil, and it says that I have got a 24 millimeter gap going from there to there. So I find my 24 on here, and I draw a little arc on that side, a little arc on that side, and I draw some construction lines coming down over there and down over there, and I can then draw in a line going across over here. It then says that I need to measure up 8 millimeters. I'm just going to get my pair of dividers out quickly. Not very prepared. There we go. 8 millimeters. Take that 8 millimeters, knock that in over here, and draw in a line going across over here. There we go. I'm going to draw in a line going up over here, a line going up over here. Right, once I've done that, I'm going to automatically start doing some little triangles over here, showing the little stones in my concrete and a couple of little dots. Please, I don't want to hear tap, 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 tap. I've taught you about making little dots silently. Right, once you've got that going, the next thing is to draw the wall. The wall thickness is 8.8 millimeters, so that's basically a 9 millimeter gap. Find your 9 millimeter circle stencil, come in here to that center line and draw in a nice little arc on either side of this, there and there. And I'm going to draw in some construction lines going down over here. Just a construction line and a construction line. I'm not doing dark lines, I'm doing construction lines first. I then say, all right, I need to measure up 9 millimeters. Okay, so I take my pair of dividers and I measure 9 millimeters going up. 9 millimeters going up over there. And that gives me what they call the hardcore fill. I'm just going to draw a construction line coming across over there to the wall.
Measurement is incorrect. 225 by 25 is 10.
Is it 10? 10.2. Sorry, my measurement is incorrect. Thank you very much. 10.2. Okay, 10.2. All right, let me just measure that again. 10.2. Not bad. 10.2 millimeters going up. There we go. Thank you very much for that. Right. I obviously can't use my brain. Okay, there we go. Coming across over here. Okay, that is where the hardcore fill is going to go. I then need to measure up the then I measure up 3.4 millimeters. Okay, 3.4 millimeters. And I bang that in over here. That's for the top of the hardcore fill. And I draw a little line going across all the way to the center of the wall. Okay. I then measure that same distance going up again to this line over here, 3.4 millimeters going up there. And I have the concrete slab going in there. And then you've got a 25 millimeter screed, and 25 millimeters divided by 25 would give me 1 millimeter screed over here. Right, so I'm just going to draw in a 1 millimeter screed going from the wall, going out to where I'm going to stop. Okay, let's have a look. I take my wall and I go up. I'm going to take it up about that far. Note, I didn't measure it. It doesn't tell me how far I need to go up. I need to come in over here and I say, all right, that line over there, that very first line, that 10.2 millimeters up, I need to draw in a line going across from here. Now this line, you can make it a bit squiggly. It doesn't really matter because it's meant to be my NGL. And you write that in immediately. Note, I'm not touching that line. I'm writing just above it. I then continue that line going from the internal wall out to my stopping point over there. Now this next one is very important. I'm going to go up to the next line, and I'm going to draw a line coming from the middle of the wall. Note, from the middle of the wall coming out over here to where I stop over there. And again, from the middle of the wall coming out to where I stop over there. Right. Reason being is that my slab goes to the middle of the wall. You can see my slab going to the middle of the wall. And over here, please don't forget this. Draw in a little line coming out over there. You can draw a little extension line. And on top of that, DPC, not DD. DPC, DPC for damp-proof course. That little line over there represents the damp-proof course. Once I've done that, I'm going to then draw in a line going up over here. Just hang on 2 seconds. There we go. Up from the wall, going up to the slab, and then from the slab going up to where I'm going to stop my wall. Right? Once I've done that, I can then come in here and I'm going to do concrete hatching for the wall. Not the wall, the slab. Concrete hatching for the slab coming across. You don't need to go all the way across, just a little bit over here and put in those little dots. Note, no noise when I'm making dots. Okay, right, once that's in place, I then pick up my 45-degree set square and I'm going to draw some hatching lines using my 0.3 pencil. Line going out there at 45, line going down at 45. Line going at 45 up there, line going down at 45 over there. Line going up at 45, line going down at 45. Line going up at 45, line going down at 45. Right, that's about as much as you need to do on that. Once you've done that, you then take your 45-degree set square and you're going to draw a little line, a small gap, a little line, a big gap, a little line, a small gap, a little line, a big gap, a little line going all the way through there, small gap, little line, big gap, little line, small gap, little line, big gap, little line, small gap, little line, big gap, little line, small gap, little line, big gap, little line. At that point over there, let me do that. I'm going to come in over here. I'm going to draw my little Zorro sign. So you take your set square, you go dark line, like that, with the 0.3 pencil. Then take your 30-degree set square. Let's draw a construction line coming across over here. Dark line going to that construction line. Keep the angle the same, and a dark line going back over there, giving me that little Zorro sign. And I can just finish it off by drawing a line going from there to there, from there to there, and that gives me that little Zorro sign that I like to call it. Right, there we go. That is that drawing done. Right, there are two things that I still need to do on this. The one is to write in the finished floor level, and what I'm going to do there is I'm going to first just draw some little dots in where the screed is, okay? I need to show that that is being hatched with that cement, and so little dots coming across there. I then take my ruler and I'm going to show you two different methods. The one is you come over here, you draw a little line coming across. You take your 60-degree set square, you draw a little line coming down, turn it around, draw a little line going up, and then you take your pencil and above that line you write FFL. FFL. Please do not touch that line, it must have a small gap between it. The other way is to draw a little line going up like that, draw a little arrowhead like this, and draw in a line coming across, and again just give yourself a little bit of a gap. You should really draw some lines to draw these labels in. F, F, L. And you can see I've definitely given myself a proper gap between the line. Those two arrows are quite acceptable. Just darken in that a little bit more. Line coming across over there, and that's an acceptable way of doing it. Right, I need to do the hatching over here. In fact, and then I'm also going to do that little Zorro sign over there. But to start with, I'm going to do the hatching. To start my hatching, I go down at a 45-degree angle with lines that are about 5 millimeters in length. Okay, and then I go back over here and I do 3 little lines going that way, and 3 little lines going this way, and 3 little lines going that way, and 3 little lines going this way. And we continue doing that until we fill up this area. Okay, coming down to this point over here. Going up over here. Do it nice and neatly. Okay, that's about as much as you need to do on that side. Come on to this side and you do the same story again. Going down there. Note, it's freehand, but it's still neat. Just because it's freehand doesn't mean that you can be messy. Okay, there we go. Note, I've sort of covered in all around down to the bottom of that foundation with the undisturbed earth. You can stop it at that point, and then if you had another wall further on, you'd do some more hatching in over there. I'll show you how that goes with the with this next example. Let's just do the Zorro sign over here. I'm going to come in over here. And I'm going to just draw a 45-degree line going over there, and then draw a little line, just a construction line coming across. Take my 30-degree set square. I'm going to draw in a line going to that point, coming back to that point, and then we can draw in a line going up to there and a line going up to there. And there we go, there's the little Zorro sign. And finish these lines coming across to it. There we go. And there we go. And there we go. That's it.